Welcome to our virtual room where we will talk about AI and how leaders can help each other just to following and reading our research and just taking what's working well and what are some actionable moves that we recommend. We know that AI is advancing rapidly and leaders need practical, credible guidance. That's why we invited 25 senior executives across product development, sales, HR, security, and operations. And we asked them what's really working well and what's not. And based on that, we summarize it for you. What are the steps that you can do? And what are some actionable moves that will help you to adapt AI more intentional? I am Alenka Znidarsic, and my background is engineering. So I bring to research my engineering background and working with AI in my research studies. And now my passion is to help people in tech to invite them to adapt AI more intentionally. And here is my research team. I would like to invite Susan Nelson first to introduce herself.
Hello, thank you very much, Alenka. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Susan Nelson, and I am an HR leaders coach. I have a background in human resources management, and one of the things that made this work very meaningful to me was bringing this people lens to what we were hearing and listening for how this shows up in day-to-day leadership, people that I am coaching and working with, and the pattern is very clear, right? AI doesn't become a shared capability just because you introduce it. It's when we are intentional as leaders and how we guide our teams, what they model and how they make learning part of the work. So I am super excited to be here to share this work with all of you and bring that lens to this work, and hopefully help leaders in the process to find how they can take what we're sharing today and employ it into their organizations and make it smoother, perhaps, than it's been.
Thank you so much, Susan. I do appreciate how diverse is our team. Not only that we are coming from leadership perspective, consultancy perspective, but we have also engineering background people on our team. And I would like to invite Rochelle Neiman to share and introduce herself.
Thank you, Alenka. It's great to be here with you guys and everyone joining in. I also am an engineer by education, and I work in the cybersecurity space. And just being able to hear people's experiences, firsthand experiences with AI integration into their organizations was really enlightening to me and exciting as well. But it also really emphasized that the pace of AI has accelerated a lot. And another lens I bring to this is around the well-being of employees and of humans, and also looking at it from a risk perspective, not only from the cybersecurity and the data side, but a risk to the people. And as our pace accelerates and the things that we're doing get even faster, the more we need to tune into ourselves and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and integrating AI in a responsible way into our organizations, as well as thinking about how we work with them. So I'm excited to have been part of this research. It was, like I said, very enlightening and energizing to learn from people firsthand.
Thank you, Rochelle. I would like to restate here how important it is to have really people on the research team, that they have different backgrounds and different professional working experience, because then we were listening through the interview and were looking for different perspective and lenses. And that's how also we work with our clients. We always bring diverse perspective in, and we are listening deeply HR perspective, also engineering perspective. And here I would like to also invite Lisa Dury on the stage to introduce herself. She was a sponsor of this research, and she brings in years of leadership experience and also working experience inside tech organization. And tech organization is our focus. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Alenka. I am thrilled to be here with everyone live and anyone watching this recording. Thank you for leading the way with this, Alenka. Being the lead researcher mattered here. Rochelle and Susan, your diverse perspectives really did make this research more compelling, more useful, and more insightful. And our commitment to everyone here on this session today is you're going to leave with something you can do right now. We're not going to give you theory. We're going to give you practical insights, not only from the research, but also from our lived experience as well. So what I'd like to do is jump right in. And if you're live, if you want to drop a note here and let us know what your questions are, what you're interested in, where you're feeling stuck, what you want to celebrate, maybe something that's working well in your group. Today we're going to talk about how AI is creating more noise than momentum and where progress is breaking down. We're also going to share with you what's working well. So grab a notepad, get your pen, get your pencils, do whatever works for you to grab some notes, and let's jump in. Does that sound good, Alenka?
Yes, thank
Ready
you.
to rock? Okay, great.
Ready to rock.
So I'm going to quick check in with everyone here. Can everyone see my slide? Yeah, if you guys are live, you can drop it in the chat for me too, because I can see people are live. Okay, so this research team, we are really helping leadership teams stay aligned. And we look at that through a lens of 3 different angles, which we're going to share with you today. But we know how impactful AI can be. And we also know the fragmentation that can happen when it's not aligned through the leadership lens. So the combined group here, we have, it's amazing to say, over 75 years of combined experience in corporate organizations through research, human resources, engineering. Alenka does bring her AI engineering background as well with her PhD in this space. We are system thinkers, we are curious partners, and we are not here today to tell you what tool to implement. We're here to show you how leadership alignment can make all the difference for your AI efforts. And we're going to talk to you about our lens today. So here's what leaders are telling us, not only in the interviews that we did, but also in our day-to-day working with our clients. They're telling us that they're navigating a feeling of all hands on deck to embed AI under uncertainty and massive time pressure, that they are experiencing overlapping tools, parallel processes, siloed decisions. This is very common. And also that local speed is creating system-wide fragmentation. There is rework, there's risk. Some people are overwhelmed and don't even know where to start. Others are feeling burnt out because they're learning AI as they go on top of their day job. And so what's interesting right now is this complexity that's happening. Not only did we hear it in the research, but we are seeing it day to day. So today we are here to address that head on. And let me go to our next slide and talk about our point of view. So at RLD Group, we are a leadership alignment consulting and coaching firm. And our point of view is that AI is going to scale whatever is already true in your system. And the bottom line is that AI leadership alignment is going to determine what gets amplified. It's our point of view that traditional leadership systems were not designed for this kind of speed, especially under uncertainty. When judgment, governance, and alignment don't keep pace, it's going to amplify cost, risk, and rework because of AI. And the bottom line of all of this is that AI doesn't just accelerate work, it exposes whether your leadership system is fit to operate at machine speed. And of all of this, the one thing that I know to be true underneath everything here, every lane we're talking about, is this is a bottom line issue and a top line opportunity. So I'd like to bring the research team in to talk about what our research showed so you can actually hear from us what we're published already. And these are 3 root drivers of fragmentation. The first is silos, and I will leave that to Susan, who's going to talk to us what the research found and what we're seeing as far as silos go.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, on the silos, I think, silos are not new to tech organizations. I think every organization I've ever been a part of, silos showed up from time to time, but I think now with the AI coming on the scene, it really raises the cost and the impact of these silos, right? In the past, we could tolerate some inefficiency from them, but now that threshold has really changed. And so we really need to start looking at how does AI execute, the siloed execution of AI compounds that cost and that risk. So leaders that we talk to consistently talked about this, right? They talked about, we have good intentions, but we have parallel efforts happening in our organizations. Maybe we have multiple different tools that everybody's using something different. And so of course the workflows, might be redesigned in isolation, and governance might lag usage. So there's lots of duplication, rework, uneven capabilities, and a lot slower decision making. So this was a big area that showed up time and time again in the interviews. And it may also show up as, it may increase the cost and complexity of AI adoption, even if it doesn't necessarily slow progress. So that can be almost kind of a sneaky way, right? It's like people think, oh, we're making progress, but are we really doing it at a higher cost and level of complexity? So, we see this in pretty much every interview that we did. We heard about these silos, and it really is, as you said, Lisa, it's amplifying what was already true in the system. And I think, as I said, in my experience, silos were something that we've tolerated for a very long time in tech. And now I think we don't really have that luxury. So that was definitely one thing that really came out loud and clear. And we're seeing it, guardrails are unclear, rework, slow scale, data readiness is uneven. AI tools are everywhere, but there's limited accountability, or who is the decision maker in certain instances. So silos is a pretty big one that we can't afford to ignore.
Thank you, Susan. The thing that I was thinking about silos too is AI's kind of flattened it because of the workflows touching every function and trying to be consistent across. So thank you for bringing that forward. And I want to go to number 2, lack of explorer mindset. Alenka is going to talk to us about the research here.
Thank you, Lisa. Lack of explorer mindset is like in the past when explorer went out and really did research without even knowing what is in front of them. Think about the travelers to the West countries that they discover a new land. Curiosity and experimentation are still suppressed, what we are hearing in many organizations. The people, not in every segment or department it's the same. However, in average, we are seeing that they are hesitant, they are fear of really blocking time to experiment and play. Many of them, they are saying that they don't have time, that it's lack of time, but also they are stating the psychological safety, encouragement. There is no enough encouragement or permission to really block the time and really focus of experimentation and play, try different AI tools, and also sharing with others what's working well and what's not. In engineering departments, they are front runners because by the engineering profession, they are curious people and they have to be. And many of them, they are champions of AI. However, what we are seeing that they are not really sharing this enthusiasm with other departments. It's they in departments and they are not even sharing their own practices or what's working well or helping other departments to do the same. What is happening is that the people are bringing in shadow tools, so the tools that they are not legally allowed. Also, it's uneven confidence in teams. Lessons are not shared, and also what's not working, it's not shared. So creating space where people are really encouraged and open to play, it's really important for AI adoption, and bringing those learning to the team and also to other departments in the organizations.
Yeah, thank you, Alenka. Yesterday, Alenka and I did an AI at Work workshop for a cybersecurity organization across all of their teams to just orient them about how they're using AI and what they can do to improve their productivity, their confidence. And we put a panel up of internal advocates who were explorers to bring that energy forward. And it was really powerful and gave everyone just a moment to share. And I think that that's a beautiful gift to everyone in the sense of breaking down fragmentation. And I think that ties really well to what Rochelle's going to cover with the fragmentation around under-designed conversations and collaboration efforts. This is the third root driver that we found in our research and we're seeing within our clients. Rochelle, what would you like to share?
Oh, thanks, Lisa. I think that both the silos as well as the lack of explorer mindset also help kind of underpin the under-designed conversations and collaboration efforts and create more opportunities for that to happen. And I think a lot of people just have their head down and they're trying to just figure out AI, figure out in their lane how it works in their world. And especially if you have more work than you have time to do, it's easy to get really overwhelmed and just try to plow forward. And if we can take a moment to take a breath and look up and think, what other teams in my organization might be trying to solve a similar challenge, maybe we should talk together and pool our efforts so we can come up with a greater solution together. And having those conversations on the front end rather than when you're already halfway down a path can really help with the rework and the coordination tasks of having to revisit things and change efforts midway because you found out a better tool exists or somebody else is doing something that maybe you didn't think about. And so I think when we can take a breath and pause before we even start the effort, or even if we are well into it, it's always a good time to pause and think about things and make sure that you have all the information that you need. And I think the speed that AI is changing and evolving right now really gives us the opportunity to continue to just pause ourselves to say, is this still the best path forward? And another thing that I felt came out of our research with many people talking about having meaningful KPIs. Maybe just token usage isn't the best indicator of productive or meaningful output, but what are really meaningful KPIs to get you to where you need to go, and then finding the tools that can get you there to drive your organization towards where you want it to go rather than just driving it towards AI.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And Rochelle's wonderful at always helping us pause and to get curious, to have a conversation. So it makes so much sense that this is the one you're covering, because this is the lane in which you play all day, every day. And I appreciate all three of you sharing your insights on the three root drivers. What I'd like to do is move us forward into the leadership alignment lens that we use at RLD Group. We look at it through three lenses, and this is really important when you think about accelerating momentum, reducing the fragmentation. And we're going to share with you now a challenge at each level, how that plays out in the world. And then we're going to share what is working, so you may get some inspiration right now for what's next for you. So I, we, us is the leadership system lens at RLD Group. I is the individual leader. We is the team. Us is the org or the system. And at the I level, the challenge that we're seeing a lot in the research and in our day-to-day lives is there is a massive increase on just the cognitive load of people. Their judgment is narrowed. There's no time to reflect. And what happens is leaders and individual contributors across the system are facing decision fatigue, and they're missing opportunities because they're not resourced enough or in the space to be able to really have a moment to either play, explore, have a conversation, break down a silo, or just even give themselves the permission to get something wrong and try it anyway. Susan, at the eye level, what is working? Let's give some insight on what we did see of working at eye level.
Yeah, for sure. I think to address this challenge that you're seeing around the cognitive load and that pressure is when leaders widen their judgment under pressure. So instead of narrowing to that speed and certainty, that they're using an approach to stay curious long enough to ask better questions and make decisions that hold up, right? It's not slowing the work, it's slowing the moment, and engaging in really thoughtful conversations about what, where, and how we're going to intentionally integrate AI into our processes, right? So really widening that judgment, I think, and taking that moment to kind of pause and reflect and stay curious is something that we are seeing working. We also are seeing it when leaders treat alignment as design work, right? So they're intentionally reconnecting priorities and ways of working and decision making as AI changes the terrain. So using AI for repetitive tasks and efficiency gains, of course, we're seeing that as well. And that frees up more time, though, for the human-centered interactions that we are uniquely able to do, right? Critical thinking, relationship building, having conversations and coaching and developing others. And that's sort of the people lens that I bring into this is, yes, we can definitely leverage AI for certain things, but we've got to say, okay, how does that free up space for us to do what we're uniquely gifted to do, right, as human beings? And so enabling sharing learning loops too for design experiments, right? So those wins can travel across teams and not stay in sort of siloed areas that we are learning from each other. But those are just two examples of things that we're seeing at the eye level to help this challenge of that narrowed judgment and really helping leaders to pause long enough to think about intentionally how are we implementing this.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. The cognitive load alone, I know the heaviness that people are carrying around right now, and it's just there's a lot of power in helping people have less decision fatigue and more clarity. So thank you. At the we level, what we're seeing is, yes, teams are doing awesome things. We are so lucky to get exposure in the research that we did to all of the cool things that are happening in the ecosystem in which this research was done. It's mind-blowing. And I know that there's many teams that have been working in AI for years. I mean, heck, Olenka's been working in this for decades, right? So it's not like it's new to everyone. It's new to a lot of people. But at the team level, there are still assumptions happening over inquiry. So there's more like it has to be done this way versus how might we change the process? How might we work differently? What are the norms? And we're really seeing rising coordination cost between teams. And that we believe is what's contributing to silos, right? And slow learning. And that causes fragmentation. So at the we level, Rochelle, what is working? Let's give them some insights for the teams now as far as the we lens that we're looking at.
I think what we learned from the research was having that clear guardrails and explaining the why behind those guardrails so people understand, and being really clear and explicit the guardrails that are in place and why they're there to, protect data, protect people, protect different things. But having those, I think, helps lessen some of that cognitive load. So the individuals don't have to be making those decisions, but they clearly know what am I able to do and what am I not able to do in this situation. And then I think learning amongst the team, so having shared learning experiences or bringing your teams together and everybody just kind of shared what they're learning, what tools they're using, how they're using AI. And even if you are doing that across teams, that can be really powerful and kind of elevate everybody's learning from the different tools, especially with the pace that tools are changing. Somebody might find something way before others do, and being able to share that in an environment, even if it's not in a call together, you can have different channels that you're just communicating on, but different pathways to accelerate the learning amongst everybody.
I appreciate that. What I was thinking the other day, one of our clients was building a hackathon where they were just bringing sales engineering, ops people together to get in a room and give them a competition to build something, right? Or optimize something. And I think that's a great example to highlight specifically what you're saying, Rochelle, which is there's so much freedom inside the org if you create that space for the acceleration and to reduce the silos. So thank you for sharing your insights on that. And then let's wrap up at the us level. And the reason us matters is that's organizational, enterprise-wide. It's the people, the processes, everything in between. And at a system level, Olenka is our resident expert there. So let me just say that the challenge we found in the research was that strategy and governance are they're lagging adoption, right? There is duplication and there is avoidable exposure if we can get the I and the we aligned. But there is shadow AI happening. There's risk and inefficiency. And Olenka, I'd love for you to share your perspective on that, as well as what is working.
Yeah, from our research, what we are seeing that it's working is to centralize the protect function on the top level of the organizations. So have an AI board that is comprised with the legal, HR, IT, cybersecurity lens, and somehow direct the strategy down, or not only the strategy, but guardrails, how to work together and what are some privacy concerns. On the company level, be aware that the company has to stand behind what is doing with AI. Many times it's not only towards clients, like protect privacy, cybersecurity, but also internally when it comes to the people in the organization. So understand that everyone in the company, what you are doing or what they are doing, that they contribute to the company wider, I would say, positioning, how they are seeing themselves as using AI and what they stand for and against. So that's very important to have AI board. And also what we are seeing is a lot of companies having also separate AI excellent, more tech-inspired board where they are collecting what's really working well, like even having all the trends that they are coming from the market, what tools are available at the level. They are the ones also, they talk about which tools works better for which department, for which functions. And they are also sharing these practices. If you talk about the good practices, best practices, and also prompts across the organization. So having some kind of AI excellence tech board that helping others to see what everything is available in the organization and helps others to share and learn from each other. What we are also seeing that it's really, when AI comes in, it's about the redesigning or reimagining the workflows. So encouraging people, employee working across the organization in different silos to reimagine the workflows, how they work together. When you bring AI in, those old original workflows that many times that they are focused only to one department doesn't work anymore. So encouraging, bringing people together to work on the new workflows, really make a big change when you are adapting AI. So those are the main elements when you think about how to bring intentionality in AI adoption. And I would like to end up with one that we see it really working well. So encouraging organization to make sure that focus, that they understand what brings efficiency and what efficiency means for them, not only to defining KPIs. And one good practice that I would like to share with you is measuring one work day, and think about that frame of one work day and finding what are the repetitive time-consuming tasks, and stick by applying or adapting AI to make it more efficient and really measure that. Figure it out from one specific example and not jumping around and doing everything. Staying long enough with one specific example and to have some measurable results and defining KPI behind.
Thank you, Alenka. And what I would add to that, based on everything we've seen too, is using the lens at the us level, like the enterprise level, thinking about it through the lens of bottom line and top line. Because when you balance that and you have that lens on both sides, it can help you as a leadership team figure out where you're going to spend your time. And to your point, figuring one thing at a time is actually very powerful. And what I'd like to do is take us, so we've talked about this leadership alignment systems lens, right? IWS is something that we bring forward. We're going to give you the research and a Jumpstart tool to help you assess at these three levels. But first I want to identify and explain out loud for all of us, why are we calling it AI leadership alignment? What is AI leadership alignment? This is a term you may or may not have heard. And you can take AI, it could have been digital transformation leadership alignment. We know that over time initiatives happen, and we are putting that in front of leadership alignment. So for us, RLD Group defines AI leadership alignment as the ability of leaders, teams, and organizations, we, us, to operate with shared clarity, decision rights, and coordination as AI changes how work gets done. The reality of this is that it's a leadership operating system. It's not just training or tools, it's the operating system work. It's reconnecting people, learning, judgment, strategy, and staying curious as leaders. And what I'd like to do now is invite Alenka to talk to you about our gift to you, which is an AI alignment Jumpstart diagnostic, which is part of the research. And I will send it back to you, Alenka.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We would like to finish with actionable moves that will really help you to bring the needle towards more intentional AI adoption. So we designed AI leader alignment Jumpstart diagnostic that will help you to really see about all three levels, I, we, and us on the organizational levels. What are some challenges and what are some symptoms, what is happening in organization? And when you will do this discovery step or diagnostic step, then you can move towards what's working well least and take one action at a step and try it out in your organization. So that's why my invitation to you is, if you're curious about this, download your version of the AI leadership insight paper. It is available on the RLD Group website for you to download. And also part of that is all you will see on the last page is diagnostic tools that helps you to work with your team to diagnose what is currently happening in organizations. In addition to that, we were also creating for us AI leadership alignment Jumpstart workshop. We can do this diagnostic with you and your team and help you discover where to move forward. Thank you for being here with us. And I would like to invite you to engage with us and talk more about your experience when you are adapting AI.